Hey there, comic book community. My name is Joe, and you're watching 360 Comics. I've got a great collection that I picked up to show you guys today. Short story is, I bought this at a yard sale, but there's definitely more behind it than that, so you're going to want to stick around and hear the details. And while you're here, don't forget to enter our 2,000 subscriber giveaway where you can win this copy of Secret Wars #1. All you've got to do is hit subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up for a like, and leave a comment down below. That gives you one entry, and you can check out our other videos from the month of May, June, and July for additional entries. It's been about 2 months since I picked up this collection, but I'm just getting to the video now because I've had a lot of other stuff going on, but I also really wanted to do this video justice because I think there's a valuable lesson to be learned here, and hopefully I can give you some tips to improve your comic book hunting, especially when it comes to yard sales. Basically what happened was I was at a yard sale. I asked the host of the yard sale if she had any comic books, and she said, no, my husband has some, but unfortunately he's not here right now. I asked to leave my number with her, which I did, and she said, yeah, my husband will give you a call if he's interested. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, the husband called you back. No, that actually has not happened yet. Hopefully it will. But as I was walking to my car, another person who was attending the yard sale, looking to buy some things, approached me and said, hey, my wife overheard you talking about comic books. And I said, yeah. And he let me know that he had kind of inherited some comic books a number of years ago, and they had just been sitting in his attic taking up space. He didn't really know what to do with them, and he was looking to get rid of them. And I said, great. Do you live nearby? Are you available, today? I'm obviously out and about. And he told me he lived less than a mile away and we could go right to his house and check this stuff out. This was completely right place and right time, but also happened because I made sure to ask and I made sure to let people know that I'm interested in buying comic books. So it was a little bit of that effort there, and then that little tip of just make people aware that you're interested, and also a little bit of luck. Right place, right time. This guy overheard me, and it led to this awesome collection. Let's take a look at me going through some of the boxes on his front porch. This is my first look through of this collection. As you can see, a lot of the stuff was bagged, but man, these bags were old and they weren't taped on top, and that unfortunately had some effects on the condition of these books. A lot of Avengers in this box. Not a lot of bigger keys, mostly minor ones. Although there was this nice Kang the Conqueror key coming to the MCU. That's going to be a good one to have. There was a nice run of Catwoman and some Aliens books in here. There's that box of a couple Silver Age things. And Dark Knight. Those were all first prints. This one stuck out right at the end. Secret Wars #8, and the full run, which you saw before. As you can see, there was some great stuff in this collection, and I pulled out a bunch of the keys to show you now. And stick around to the end because I saved the 10 best for last. First up here, we've got Amazing Spider-Man Annual #16. This is the first appearance of Monica Rambeau, who's already made an appearance in the MCU and will likely be coming back for a lot more. She was the leader of the Avengers at one point in the 1980s, and I could see that happening again as that character develops in the MCU. Next, we've got some more ASM, number 135, and this probably would have been at the end of the video if it had been higher grade. It is in pretty beat up condition, but this is the second full appearance of the Punisher. Sometimes you'll see it listed as the third appearance of the Punisher because he does have a cameo in the issue before this. Nonetheless, he's on the cover of this one and a major part of the story. So Punisher fans love picking this book up, and it's got a great cover as well. Then we've got Amazing Spider-Man 209, first appearance of Calypso. Great character, a love interest of Kraven the Hunter. We're getting a Kraven movie. I believe that it's been confirmed that Calypso will be in that movie. We'll see what happens with that. Hopefully that movie is better than a lot of the other Sony projects that have come out. And not just that, but 2 copies. One is definitely higher grade than the other, but they're both pretty decent. Then we got ASM 265, another book that has had some Sonyverse hype around it. first appearance of Silver Sable, and there's been some rumors and speculation as this character might be coming to the big screen sometime in the next couple years. Then we've got Spectacular Spider-Man hopping over to that run. This is #1, the first book of the second ongoing Spider-Man series, and it's got this great cover featuring Tarantula. Such a classic book. Speaking of great covers, we've got a George Perez original right here. Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, #9, first appearance of White Tiger. A lot of people specking on this, and even if this character doesn't ever come to fruition in the MCU or the Sonyverse or anything like that, or the animated Spider-Verse, it's still a classic character created by George Perez. You can't go wrong with that. Moving on, big jump here all the way up to #90 from the Spectacular Spider-Man run. This is tied for the second appearance of the Black Spider-Man suit. First appearance was in Amazing Spider-Man 252, and then second appearance is a tie between this book and Marvel Team Up #141 with that purple cover. Love that one. This was an underrated book for a while. In fact, even like a year or two ago, you could pick this book up for like $20 or $30, but it is shot clear past $50 and is getting near $100 at this point because an early black suit appearance, and people love that stuff. Speaking of black suit, we got Web of Spider-Man #1, the first book of the third Spider-Man ongoing series. Great cover as well, featuring that symbiote costume. The last of the Spider books here, we've got Marvel Tales #1, featuring Peter Porker, the Spectacular Spider-Ham. This is actually his first appearance. A lot of people I've heard made the mistake of referring to Spider-Ham #1 as the first appearance. But this book right here, Marvel Tales #1, is Spider-Ham's first appearance. And I gotta check. This might be higher grade than the one in my personal collection. And I gotta say, this is a series and a character that I really, really love. Moving on to some X-Men stuff, and I'm just going to pop these guys down right here. We've got X-Men Annual #14. There wasn't a lot of X-Men in this collection, unfortunately, and I'm a huge X-Men fan, so I was bummed to see that, but this is a great one. First appearance of Gambit. Definitely his first appearance, not a cameo. That's been debunked, and in fact, Key Collector has finally changed it, which is great. Great book, one that I have multiple copies of, and I'm going to be holding on to these for the foreseeable future because Gambit's coming at some point. He will show up. This is a book that I had in the beginning of the video, and the reason I put it up in the beginning, I have never found this book in the wild before. This book has never been in a collection. I've owned it, but I've bought it from, a dealer or a comic book store. I have never found this in a collection. I don't know why. There are tons of New Mutant stuff, but like this book and 98, New Mutants 98, First Deadpool, have never been in a collection that I bought. So glad to finally have this one from this collection. Then we got Wolverine #1. This is from the first Wolverine ongoing series from 1988. First appearance of Wolverine as the persona of Patch. Great cover. All that stuff, can't go wrong with Wolverine. And also going from kind of that same era, late Copper Age, we've got Marvel Comics Presents #72. This is the first appearance of the Weapon X backstory of Wolverine, the Weapon X program. Great cover. Also great back to this comic. The back cover is artwork as well, not an advertisement or anything. Very glad. Not only was this in there, but the entire Weapon X run. I believe it's 72 through 85. You'll see that later in the video. Then we've got Star Wars #68 with this classic Boba Fett cover. Not Boba Fett's first appearance. That was like 10 or so issues earlier. But this is just such a classic cover. People love to pick this one up. Boba Fett has had like a big rise in popularity, and then it kind of fell off after the show, but this character is so beloved by Star Wars fans. I don't see the long-term value of this book being hurt by the television show having some mixed reviews. Then we got a DC book. Was not really aware of this one at first when I first saw it. I'm not a huge DC guy, especially a lot of the Silver Age stuff. And there wasn't a lot of Silver Age in this collection. It was, as you can probably tell, mostly 80s with a little bit of 90s in there. But this book, there was some 70s and a few books, probably 10 books from the Silver Age. This is Adam number 29, and this is the first appearance of the Golden Age Adam in the Silver Age. So they brought the original version of Adam back into this book right here. Not a huge thing, but judging by what this book sells for online, I guess it's a popular book to pick up as an Adam key. Then there's this one. I love finding this. This is Batman number 183. This is the second appearance of Poison Ivy. This is definitely higher grade than the copy in my personal collection, which is absolutely wrecked. So this one I'm going to be keeping. And it's got this funny cover, very indicative of the era in which it came out, the 1960s, when the Batman show was on television. Very campy. Last but not least, before we get into some other stuff, we got Aliens by Dark Horse, and don't forget we've got the big books at the end, so stick around for that. But this is the first appearance of Aliens in comic books. This is a first printing of the book as well. It went through multiple printings, so you'll want to make sure you have the first printing. That one has much higher value than the other printings. Before we get into those top 10 most expensive books, the best keys in the bunch, here's a quick video of some of the other keys that I left out of showing you. I'm just going to go through them real quick. But yeah, some of them are actually pretty good. Enjoy. Starting off with some Spider-Man 2099, some good 90s stuff with the X-Men and Sleepwalker. Second appearance of Deadpool, New Mutants number 1. Couple of Silver Age books thrown in here, as you can see. That 80s Silver Surfer number 1. That run of Secret Wars. No 8 in here, but foreshadowing on what might be at the end of the video. Hint, hint. Some of the good early Carnage books. Even some Star Wars. And that rest of the Weapon X run. Definitely some nice stuff. All right, back to the top 10 keys in this collection. Kicking off, we've got some Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 194, the first appearance of Black Cat. You can't go wrong with this Bronze Age major key. It's got a great cover featuring Black Cat right there, front and center, and it's got a black cover, which means it's harder to get in higher grade. This one's definitely a mid-grade copy, but nonetheless, still a great key to pick up. Moving on, we've got Amazing Spider-Man 210, the first appearance of Madam Web, another character. There's been rumors swirling about this character being cast, showing up in a movie, all that kind of stuff. Hopefully it happens, and hopefully it's done well. There were actually 2 copies of this book in the collection. One was really, really beat up, and I sold it to a friend for cheap to help him complete his collection. But this is a nicer copy, and in fact, this is probably nicer than the one in my PC, so I'm probably going to switch that one out and keep this copy. Maybe even get this one graded. Then we've got what would be one of the biggest books, one of the heaviest hitters, but unfortunately is missing the coveted tattoos. This is Amazing Spider-Man 238, first appearance of Hobgoblin. It's missing the tattoos. There's a tattoo insert that's usually in the back of this book. They're not there. That happened a lot, so it is incomplete technically, but this book still holds really nice value even without that, because people love this character. I think this character would be great in the films. I hope it happens. Yada, yada. Moving on to the last Amazing Spider-Man book, number 252. You probably guessed this one was in here because you did see that there was some Secret Wars stuff. You did see that there was the second appearance in Spectacular Spider-Man 90 of the black suit. And, of course, this was in here too. Definitely one of the better books in the bunch. Classic cover homaging Amazing Fantasy 15. And going right along with that black suit, here's the origin in Secret Wars number 8. This obviously completes the Secret Wars run that you saw a little bit ago in the video. And it's, just such a classic cover. Love it. Definitely always love finding that book. Never gets old. Then we're moving on to Marvel Superheroes Winter Special 1991. This is a book I think a lot of people gloss over and don't realize what it is, but this is the first appearance of Squirrel Girl. a character who has gained immense popularity in the 2000s after being really brought back to comics after a pretty long absence. Great book, and really happy. This is the first time I've ever found this book in the wild, just like that New Mutants 87. So happy to have that one. Going back into the 80s now, we got Moon Knight #1, and in fact, this collection had a pretty nice run of Moon Knight, number 1 to 23, if I remember correctly. Obviously, #1 is the big one, the more valuable one, but having that run, I think I'm going to keep that for my PC because I did not have that complete run. It does go farther than 23. I think it goes up to 38, so got about 15 more issues to grab before it is complete. Then we've got Jungle Action #6. Black Panther book, and this is the first appearance of Killmonger. He's right on the cover. Michael B. Jordan killed it in that role. I would love to see the character come back because Killmonger is resurrected in the comic books. That definitely could happen in the movies as well. Whether he becomes Black Panther or not, that's is up for debate whether that should happen, but either way, really stoked to find this. Another book that I have never found in the wild before. Going back all the way to the Silver Age, like I said, there were only about 10 Silver Age books, but they were some pretty solid ones, including this right here, Avengers #55, first appearance of Ultron. Really don't know it by the cover, but this is a great book, has MCU ties, Silver Age, and it's in pretty nice shape. So really happy to find that, but not nearly as good as this last book. Definitely the most expensive book in the collection, despite it being, a mid-grade book. This is Aquaman #35, the first appearance of Black Manta. I have no clue why this book was in this collection. Like I said, there were only about 10 Silver Age books in total. Maybe the owner of the 80s stuff in this collection had inherited a small pile of comics from, a loved one or something like that. But this was in there. Could not believe it when I saw it. In fact, I'm not a huge DC guy at all, but I know this book. You got to know this book. You got to be on the lookout for this book. When it comes to Aquaman, this is the book to find, other than #1. But great book right here. It's in pretty nice shape, too. I will probably be sending this one in to get graded. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let's talk about the money. I almost forgot. Forgot how much I paid for this. A lot of these books were not bagged, not boarded, so I was really concerned about condition. I didn't want to overpay, so I made a lower offer, and I ended up coming up a little bit from my initial lower offer, and we settled at $360, which I think was an amazing deal. This guy kind of just wanted to get rid of this stuff, wasn't super concerned about getting maximum value. He said they'd been just sitting around, and he said he got them for free. So I paid $360. I think it was a fantastic deal, despite there being a lot of condition issues on the 80s stuff, a lot of it being mid-grade. Nonetheless, still a great buy. Definitely, when all is said and done, over $1,000 in comics. I'm not sure where it would be exactly, but great deal nonetheless, and a lot of great filler issues that are going to stay in my PC as well. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Thumbs up for a like. Leave a comment down below. All that stuff. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not yet. And until next time, turn the page, wash your hands.